Hola, bom dia. Carl Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show from expatsportugal.com. How are you this morning? Let's make sure our sound is good. It's been a really busy morning already with all sorts of comments coming in. Did a beautiful interview about Coimbra last night with Sara Cruz of GoWalksPortugal.com, who provided our starter screen there. Beautiful picture of Coimbra, I think probably in the morning. With the downtown part facing the river, bleached with sunlight. Oh, for those days again. We will take a look at the weather, of course, this morning, see if, what's this latest depression called? I know the last one was called Dora. Is this one called Dennis, Depression Dennis, causing havoc now? It doesn't really help, does it, to give these, to call these things depressions in the first place, and then upset people called Dora and Dennis. We are looking this morning at toys with a COVID twist for Christmas. Are they cool or are they grotesque? You may have seen this in the Natasha Don fan club. Sorry, the Portugal resident paper, your daily news from Portugal in English, our favourite news source. But I just thought this was very interesting. Discussion point and an opinion piece. Toys with a COVID twist for Christmas. Are they cool or are they grotesque? Let's go back to those. We did find a cheese maker who's prepared to send out cheese by mail order, or Anna did yesterday on the show. So thank you very much for that, Anna. We can't not look at Portugal's minimum wage proposal. Guess what the new proposal is? I don't even know if you know the current minimum wage, but would you care to hazard a guess? Should I give you multiple choice? I don't know. If you might need some help. It's staggering. The government is proposing a new minimum wage. Would you care to guess what that is? Laughter yoga, the best medicine, could it be? And we'll go and find Joanna Banana's workshop that's coming up soon, and talk again about learning Portuguese with her whilst laughing and dancing. Could that be an appropriate way for you to learn yoga? I think the Munson family are going to give it a go. So if you want to join us via teleconference to do that, I don't think we're going to do it on the show because that would be chaos. Maybe we could do a little bit of a taster show on that. But that's going to be a sort of a private enterprise that Joanne came up with, which I think is a fantastic idea and a fun way to learn Portuguese. And also the chilli experience. Facebook, very slow, of course. Very slow for me to load up today on my browser. So a lot of links that I was hoping to share with you currently hidden from me. So I'm not sure what to do about that, apart from hope and pray that they will return. And then I can tell you about the laughter yoga experience and the chilli experience. How about a few good mornings this morning? Is everyone as a little sort of laid back and tired as I am this morning? And that's why you're slow, backward, and coming forward this morning. Usually many more comments than this. What's going on this morning? This quinta-feira, 10 de dezembro, 2020, of course. Moving quickly into 2021, which will be a very interesting year, I think. Interesting in a different way to this one. But what a year we're going into. What a year we've had. What an incredible time to be alive as human beings. As we just pause for breath for a moment on the Good Morning Portugal show and give ourselves a pat on the back, actually, for doing so well, getting this far in this year, whilst we gird our loins and get ready for another one, which will be full of new and interesting challenges, I suspect, including, as Gary is saying here, Garvo, Miopo, and Leader tonight, tasting white port. Is it? Oh, where's it gone? I've managed to get my hands on it. Beautiful presentation box, Christmas style, of white port, with a lovely little port glass that I'm sure I'll one day think, as I look in my cupboard of glasses, where'd I get that from? But a lovely little port glass that's come with that in the presentation case, and looking forward to finding out more about white port tonight and tasting it with Gary and Linda from Alviagra there in central Portugal. Elsa, hola, bom dia. First in, well done, Elsa. How's your weather in North Wales? We'll take a look at the Portuguese weather in just a moment. Deborah Davies, hi, sitting around in Lisbon. Yeah, how's it going? Waiting for my town hall appointment time to get residency. Well, everything crossed here for you, Deborah. Strange being in a city, I don't know, with restrictions on socializing due to pandemic. So glad to be part of this community. Else I might fear feel alone, feel a little bit lonely, we're here with you. Good luck with that this morning, Deborah. And of course, any help you need, go to the Expats Portugal Forum, a friendly place. And we'll do our best to help you here this morning as well. So hope that goes well for you, and that all gets figured out. And you'll look back and think, well, what was that all about? This residency thing was easy. I'm still working on mine, actually. I went to my Camara Municipal yesterday because mine, unlike the rest of the family, was not granted the full 5 years because my passport, you've got to watch out for that. My passport only went into 2020, not like into the 2023 that was needed and granted for the rest of the family. So I'm just tying that little knot up and going through that myself. So I do understand it. You do feel at the mercy, don't you, of other people's decisions. So lots of love to you and all the best with that this morning. Jenny from Belgium, bon dia. In capital letters this morning, aloud, bon dia, and asking about the chilli experience. If Facebook will load, then yes, but until it does, well, I suppose I guess I could search it a different way and tell you what I've learned about the chilli experience myself so far. Managed to find myself a nice, don't keep this to yourselves, but I found a nice little present for Mrs. M, a special offer that went out from the chilli experience in central Portugal yesterday. So I think I might have to find that via a different route if Facebook won't load this morning. Maybe Mark Zuckerberg, with all this pressure from the American government, is fighting back, and this is what a world without Facebook is like. See if you like this. Certainly a bit frustrating for me this morning. That is not happening so far, but it's a company in Portugal, and I'm actually, my phone just flashed up. Maybe I should do it via my phone and let you know via my phone, which actually also seems to be playing up a little bit. Anyway, let's come back to that. But after I've had a little sip of PG Tips this morning, open the box of PG Tips. That will mean more to Brits than to anybody else. My goodness, I have got used to drinking weak tea. Having a PG Tips bag this morning that I managed to get from one of the supermarkets that stocks a few Brit items, and I've really got used to Lidl tea, which is a lot weaker. Hold on, I'm just going to have a sip of it again now. Bear with, and just talk politely and quietly among yourselves. Yes, strong PG Tips. I think until it was seen to be cruel, I think that was the tea that was, of course, advertised by chimpanzees back in the day, and how we laughed and how we are a little bit embarrassed now by that. So, Fiona, good morning to you. Fiona, we're having a bit of a slow start today. Yeah, is that all of us? Is this sort of dampness and winteriness getting to us a little bit? Should I be starting the show at 10 so we can have a lie in? Damp and grey here in Cabanas de Tavira. Good morning to you, Paul. And Gary is saying it's a good story with the port tonight. So tune in on these platforms just after 9 o'clock, after the webinar. We're talking again to the consular staff at the British Embassy tonight for these last minute panics. I mean, you know how us human beings are. We tend to wait until the last minute, don't we, to take action on things. There's a small minority of people who, get their tax return in 3 months before or whatever, or as soon as you're allowed to. They've all got their ducks in a row administratively. That's about 5% of people, 1% of people. It's like a 1%, 99%, isn't it? And then the rest of us need deadlines. And there's one coming up, of course. The transition period ends on the 31st of December. And the British Embassy, British government have been busy telling Brits in Portugal to get crack-a-lacking with their residency. So if you haven't done that yet, or if you've got some outstanding issues on that and you want a little bit of help from the consular team of the British Embassy, I'm talking to them tonight, along with my colleagues Jerry and Astrid from Expats Portugal.com, to just make sure we can, at the very least, ease people's stress and challenge with that. Marta and Simona from the consulate are absolutely lovely people, and they'll be with us tonight. You need to book that, though. Go to expatsportugal.com and go to the events tab, pull that down and get it booked, folks. So yes, good story tonight on the port, on the white port, which follows the webinar. So after we've talked about residency, we might feel like we'd need a nice sip on white port, which I found quite easy to get from Continent. If you want to join us tonight, I think it's also available at Ocean. as well. Good luck, Deborah, says Louise. I was in the same situation a few weeks ago. This community was my lifeline. Oh, that's lovely to hear that, Louise. I'm glad to have been of assistance. A bit of Brit weather before we go to Portuguese weather. Thank you, Louise. Weather here is dull and cloudy, but the sun is trying to break through and brighten things up a bit. Isn't it always? We had a light frost during the night, but it's warming up a bit now. I managed to pick up where we left off with the show yesterday after my Zoom meeting. How amazing is that? Good. Gianni, there you go. Facebook.com/the Chilli Experience. That's a nice deal. You can become a member of the elite Chilli Experience squad, is how I'd like to see it anyway. And here we go. Eloise is saying about Alan. Alan Stenhouse, I think his name is. Alan at the Chilli Experience is fantastic. He has so many products, either at markets or on his website. Fabulous range of products. Use them all the time. So that link and that membership idea, that Christmas gift idea, a good one, I would say. Fiona Worrell adding, don't know if this will help. Thank you. It does help. There you go, everybody. And that's where you can find out more about the membership idea that's being floated just before Christmas. I think I got in there just in time. And places are limited on that. It's a really good deal with some discounts. And the betrothal of some plants, hot, super hot, and silly hot, I think. Categories like that to consider. And if you're a chili fan, Alan's the man. Maybe you should think of that as a marketing phrase. And our friend Will, I loved your video yesterday, Will. And no holds barred addressing the people yesterday. Will, of course, who's been our guide, a really reliable guide and an interesting guide to the whole development of our understanding of the pandemic, is now considering hibernation. And well earned too. Well earned too, Will. Okay, that's Portuguese weather then. Where's it gone? I'm going to put it on the screen so you can look at it with me, actually. I've slightly rejigged the page. Expertsportugal.com weather, here we go. You should be able to see it on your screen now, should you wish to. 16 degrees. Possible light rain in the capital, 18 degrees the high today, but still rain forecast until Sunday. Still be cloudy on Sunday, but a let up in the rain, and then it will be raining again next week. Very nice for ducks, or pato. There's your vocabulary for today. Pato, duck in Portuguese. Porto, 14 degrees, light rain, and 16 the high today. But look at that, rain all the way again as far as the eye can see. No change in that forecast. Coimbra, 15 degrees, rainy day today, 17 the high, and again straight rain. Temperatures ranging between 17 and 15. So pretty mild, and that's often the way with rainy times, isn't it? But my goodness, if it gets to you, if rain gets to you, I don't know, prepare for some comedy on Netflix. Yes, good question for you. I mean, how do there are these periods, aren't there? When we face prolonged and difficult weather, what do you do apart from battening down the hatches? How do you I was going to say, how do you pleasure yourself? That's not what I meant. What I mean is, how do you, whatever it takes, how do you stay buoyant it would be a much better phrase to use, Carl, in that situation. I made myself chuckle there. 16 degrees and possible drizzle in Faro this morning with a 20-degree high. Come on, pull yourself together, lad. 20 degrees tomorrow, not raining, and a little bit of sun. And 21 degrees for the weekend, seeing the weekend in a cloudy Sunday and then rain again on Monday. So there you go, the weather for Portugal. Oh, my word. I imagined a flurry of comments after that. Unless, of course, you're wondering, what's he giggling about? And, of course, I'm not going to tell you. Okay, so did you guess Portugal's minimum wage? I'll give you multiple choice, right? Is it A, the proposal, is the proposal 665 euros a month? Couldn't possibly be, could it? Is it B, 995 euros a month? Or is it in a gesture of largesse? This is a quiz, and I was going to say a bit of fun. There's nothing funny about this, really. But is it A, 665 euros? Is it B, 995 euros? Or in a possible gesture of largesse, sharing out the loan that's coming from the EU just to make everybody comfortable after these very difficult months. Would it be €1,995 a month as the minimum wage in Portugal? Tell me which of those you think, A, B, or C. Before we come back to that, let us look at toys with a COVID twist for Christmas. Are they cool or are they grotesque? I think, oh dear, grotesque as far as I'm concerned. Tell me what you think. I guess some might think there's an educational value to these. Let me make the screen a little more easy on the eye this morning by darkening the background. It's like turning the lights off when the old OHP projector used to come on in French in school. Who remembers that? Or are people just thinking, what is he talking about? OHP projector. Yes, some of us educated in the 80s will remember the smell of the OHP pen and the fun of the lights going out and the OHP projector being used, whilst the teacher would be putting on these like scratched up old slides that they'd been using forever. Okay, so let's look at this. Toys with a COVID twist. Actually, I need another sip of tea. Bear with me. Have a quick look at this yourself for a minute. Start reading that and I'll catch up with you. If I was just remember thinking there, do I have the mute muted or not? The mic muted or not? And if you want to see my unguarded moment of singing Chris Rea's Riding Home for Christmas, that is now on our YouTube channel. I just thought I'd share it again with a little bit of festive cheer. Anyway, toys, talking of Christmas, at that time when Santa's sack is swelling to overflowing, and we'll find out if we've been naughty or nice. Like it or not, toy makers have leapt onto the pandemic bandwagon, thanks to Natasha Don here, a news article from yesterday from the PortugalResident.com, to produce what Reuters news agency has described toys with a twist, or are they just plain twisted, for Christmas this year. The COVID twist. Nancy dolls wearing protective masks, dolls that come with a virus tester, and mask and soap making kits are reportedly being purchased by Portuguese and Spanish parents with enthusiasm. Said one, it's a way of adapting to reality. Dolls also have to represent society. Okay. Another suggested putting a mask on their dolls helps kids realize they need to wear one themselves. Only to be fair, the smallest children in Portugal have been spared this measure and arguably should grow up without the need to wear a mask. In brackets there from Natasha. For every parent presented as delighted by the new Christmas choices in the toy stores, there will be those who find the prospect quite grotesque. I find myself in the latter category, I have to say. But Portugal's Science for You, and this is the shop, isn't it? The toy shop. Well, they sell all kinds of, not just straight up toys, but like, it's science experiments, as the name suggests there, and you see them in the shopping malls. Portugal's Science for You tells Reuters that sales of its toys related to the virus are booming, especially online, as people steer clear of large shopping malls due to fear of contagion. It's the ultimate pandemic present, sent to you in the post. One of Science for You's top hits, says Reuters, is a kit of 15 activities that include mask making, face shields, and star-shaped soap. Said CEO Miguel Pina Martins, if we make it fun, children will learn much more about the virus and how to keep away from it. Well, good luck with that. I mean, kids are a lot smarter than we tend to imagine as well, aren't they? Can you imagine like jollying it up with a mask making lesson? I think kids are going to know what's going on there, honestly. The innovations are also a way for toy makers to adapt to the economic impact of the pandemic, says the news agency. Well, that's true. The toy market is going through a difficult time. There are no birthday parties since March, Pina planned. Oh, I see. Yeah, of course. We tried to find a way to surf this giant tsunami, and the formula seems to have paid off. Science for You has sold more than 8,000 antivirus lab kits since mid-July. Well, their test kit, if that's what they do, might be more reliable than the PCR one, as it turns out. Reuters ends its report saying those studies have shown that children are less likely than adults to get severe cases of COVID-19 infection. They can still carry the virus. That said, vaccination programs both here and elsewhere are not including children, very possibly because there's no need. So is there a need? Having said that, is there a need to freak children out, as far as I'm concerned, with COVID-based. There's a picture. That's a Nancy doll with a mask on. Imagine that. I mean, I was winding Gary up the other day saying with his new Barnet and his beard, he looked like Action Man. And I remember Action Man, with his flexible grip fingers and his movable eyes, his broken flexible fingers after a few weeks of play. I just remember him without a mask on, obviously, because that wasn't occurring then. I mean, it's not even like he had chickenpox or measles. I guess some kids would have drawn them on if they were using a kind of form of art therapy in their toys. But I just think this, like, hey, teacher, leave those kids alone. I mean, they're gonna know enough about this, aren't they? Without their toys being themed in this way as well. Fascinating, I think. What do you guys think about that? Someone remembers OHP slides. Well, that's reassuring. Not just me then. Thank you for all your information about the chilli experience. Let's just sign that off for a moment because Facebook is not loading for me this morning. It might be coming through on me mobile, so I might be able to tell you about the laughter yoga that way through what I have on my saved tab. This is what I do. I save them on Facebook. Are you like me with things that you save on Facebook and then you never go back to them? And then when you do go to find something saved on Facebook, there's just far too many things on there to make it a useful way of understanding what's going on. Oh, here we go. So we have got saved, and I should be able to tell you. I won't be able to share it on screen, but I should hopefully. Oh yeah, I can tell you definitely about the chilli experience. That's good because I've got that on my phone now. But thank you for all your help with that. Let's see what your guesses are about the Portuguese minimum national wage, OHP projectors, and anything else that's come up. Start getting that vitamin D and C down your neck because, with the lack of the sun, that's good advice, Gary. D and C supplementation, absolutely essential right now. Victoria Benson, just a couple of Rockwell eyes. I always feel like somebody's watching me, especially when Victoria puts an emoticon like that on in the comments. Guesses so far on the minimum wage? Yeah, €665. Andrew saying 665. Fiona saying A665. Stephanie says, sadly, I believe it's 665. Andrew, all right. I thought that would pass. Connecting the how to survive grim weather and toys together in one neat comment there. Very good, Andrew. Bon dia from Joel in Porto. Also a bit slow to the party this morning. What is it? I think this weather's got to us, isn't it? We're all in semi-hibernation mode. Gary, of course, remembers OHPs. Jean-Paul and Marie-France, OHP slides, memory lane. Did you put your hand up to be the OHP operator, Gary? Because one of the kids had to do it, right? And Andrew remembers, yes, OMG, Gary. Yes, Marie-France, aujourd'hui, au bout de la rivière. All of that kind of stuff. Bibliothèque. Jenny, I find rain romantic. Well, even 10 solid days of it, Jenny. That's proper loved up after all that time. Rain gives a good atmosphere to relax our mind. And a relaxed mind looks for fun and to create fun. Of course. If you don't have any big problem or irritation due to rain, it can be romantic. Yeah, of course. I'm just being a first world whinger, aren't I, with this? But I think we do share our feelings, don't we? We're quite authentic and transparent in this community. And I just wondered, I think it's it's a bit like the wind, isn't it? And the dark and the damp and the rain. It can all get to you after a while. So I was just sticking my beak in just to find out how you cope with it. But obviously for you, Jeanne, it's no problem. Bring it on, I think, in Belgium with the rain on the roof and the twinkle in the eye there. Do you think there is a run on kids' spacesuits this year? Asked Gary. And the beard is gone. Maybe the action. I hope it wasn't me with the Action Man jibes that influenced that, Gary. I thought it suited you. I trust on Facebook the same way I trust politicians. That says quite a lot in quite a few words, in so few words there, Joel. And someone once said to me, never trust a man with a beard because he's got something to hide. How very dare you, Gary? I have nothing to hide here. Or have I? Okay, so yes, good guesses on the minimum wage there, folks. Let me tell you. dissolve that mystery in front of your very eyes now. Was it 665? Was it 995? Was it 1995? Can you imagine that? Like the UBI, the Universal Basic Income. If I mean, one government's going to do it around the world, aren't they? They're going to say, look, it's been a really bad year. Means testing money for people is ridiculous. It costs too much. We're just going to give everyone a load of money to help them eat, for one thing. For those who are a bit better off, it's all going to help. It's all going to go into the economy, and it's going to start the wheels turning again. Here's $2,000 per person. It could happen. It's not that ridiculous. It's just, and if other things are mandatory, like lockdowns and possibly vaccinations, why shouldn't income be mandatory as well? You'll have some carrot with that stick. Today's the day for setting next year's minimum wage in Portugal. That was yesterday. A salary that in European scheme of things is pretty much in the middle. Good heavens. We have 11 countries with lower minimum wages behind us and 10 in front. Austria, Cyprus, Italy, Finland and Sweden do not have minimum wages. And of course, that's a whole political can of worms, isn't it? Whether it actually helps anybody to have a minimum national wage, or does it just punish businesses and basically undo any good that was intended? The Portuguese government's plan, as Natasha Don revealed again in the Portugal, she's a busy woman, PortugalResident.com yesterday. Here we go. Maybe it's not worth standing up for this. The Portuguese government's plan is for an increase of €30, €1 a day. Coffee, that is, isn't it? Bringing the national minimum salary to 665, starting in January 2021. Explain reports it is preparing measures to compensate companies for the inherent increased charges they will suffer as a consequence. It's bizarre, isn't it? Surely there are better ways to do this, folks. This is 2021 we're going into. People are being paid in Portugal €665, and the government will compensate the less well-off companies to cover that €30, which will probably then cost €100 to pay that €30 in all the additional costs. There's got to be a better way, right? Explain reports it is preparing measures to compensate companies for the inherent increased charges they will suffer as a consequence. The PS government has always said its master plan is to increase the national minimum wage to €750 by the end of its legislature. So a stepped approach, the first step being 30 meager euros. The advent of the pandemic may well affect this goal, as employers are already saying they can't afford pay increases next year. Of course they can't. My goodness, what a pickle. What a pickle. Yeah, so there you go. It was €665. How they do it, I do not know. And here we go. Gary saying, can you imagine a Brummie trying to speak French? We can barely speak English. I so want to give that a go. If you want to give me a sentence to say as a Brummie speaking French, I would gladly do that for you. Since I've been watching those Peaky Blinders, I've been practicing my accents. I can say Peaky Blinders as Winston Churchill, as the Peaky Blinders, the cop in the program. Obviously, as they say it themselves, then there's the Peaky Blinders down in London on the Camden Canal. I'm happy to give it a go, Gary, if you want me to try that Brummie speaking French. Or is that an evening thing? With the rain gently pitter-pattering on the roof, and the wood stove gently glowing in the corner. The kids have gone to bed, and I go up to Mrs. M and I say, "Are you all right, love? Would you like a cup of tea?" Is that the Brummie French hybrid? I don't know. Thank you, Gianni. By the way, for saying that. I'm not good. I haven't got a good memory, but I'm a fairly good impersonator. That's how I get by with my Portuguese. That's my strategy. So, muito obrigado. Do I remember luncheon vouchers? I certainly do. Gary. And my father used to get them as part of his salary package. And he would give them to me and I'd spend them. I think they were in increments of something like 25 British pence. So here we go, back to the minimum wage thing. Thank you for that. Don't you dare ask me if I remember Opal Fruits and Spangles. A company pays the employee salary and pays almost the same amount in taxes and fees to the government. and the employee pays a part for social security and taxes. Government feeds itself from the two. Yes, there is a recurring problem here. There is a recurring finger pointing at the problem in these equations, right? It's not necessarily the people. It's not necessarily the companies. It might be our form of government. And I'm not aiming this specifically at the Portuguese government. All governments have to feed themselves, don't they? And this is how they do it, folks. Lol, Gary, I'm from Brum. Jean-Paul, I don't le jardin. Is that any good for you, Andrew and Gary? Weather, rain and chilli experience, 4 kilograms from Pombal Market, smoked and pureed, minimum wage, embarrassing, COVID toys, great idea. Oh, yes, first to respond to the COVID toys. It sounds like Pete likes a doll in a mask. The weather's rainy over there in Castaneda de Pera. And he's a big fan of the chilli experience. Let me tell you about that fantastic deal Alan was offering. 4 kilograms from Pombal Market. So it sounds like Alan goes to Pombal. Smoked and pureed is what Pete's done there to go with his egg and bacon or whatever he has. Minimum wage is embarrassing, he says. And he likes the idea. He does like the idea of a doll in a mask. Loved lunch and vouchers, says Elsa. I used to buy my shopping with them. And very good, Carl, says Andrew. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You're right. You're right, Bab. You want a couple of tea? This is perhaps getting a little bit too specialist this morning, in case you're wondering what on earth is going on. So important update. 3 months ago, we were only just thinking about it, says Alan at the Chilli Experience, and today we're doing it. Welcome to the Chilli Experience Member Club for our local customers in the central Portugal region. I've snuck in there because I'm not quite in the region, but I'm prepared to drive and go and see the Chilli Experience, and obviously, make some videos and stuff while I'm over there in central. Go to Alviagra, go to Castanera de Pera. This is going to be a road trip. Membership is restricted to a maximum of 25 members. Perfect Christmas gift for that someone special who likes it hot. For an application form, please send a private message with your email address and I will send it across. All products available as part of the membership need to be collected in person from the Chilli Experience, one of our local markets, or drop-off points locally. And the membership will kick in on the 1st of January. So there's something to look forward to for the new year if you are a chilli fan. And it includes annual membership of the Chilli Club is the great gift idea for €33.50. All members of the Chilli Club will receive the following benefits: 3 chilli plants, medium hot or very hot, stupid hot, 3 times the Chilli Experience, or 3 of the Chilli Experience products. So 3 plants, 3 products. A 200-gram pack of fresh mixed chilies. And don't they look beautiful? They look like a hot potpourri, don't they, in a bag? And I guess you can make them a bit of a potpourri, let them dry, and then do whatever you do with them, as Pete's done there. And 10% discount on online orders throughout the year. Great offer, Alan. And you can go. Let's go back to that website address. And while I'm finding that, just going to have another sip on my tea. Lots going on there. Thechilliexperience.com. Remember to put in the chilliexperience.com. Thank you, Fiona. There you go, for that offer from Alan Stenhouse. Cheers, Alan. Great idea. Wanted to tell you about the laughter yoga that we experienced, didn't we, on the show with Joanne? Let me see if I can find that. So many different, in this age that we live in, there are so many ways to receive information. Do you know what, kids? There was a time when how did people receive information back in the day? Let's talk when there were 3 channels on the telly, and I don't think there was any telly in the morning until the 80s. So you wouldn't have watched telly in the morning. You certainly wouldn't have had one of these things, or no tablets or devices. And a paper might have been delivered, which father would be reading and not sharing with anybody else because he'd had first look at the paper. And if you're lucky, there might have been a letter, an actual letter coming in the post, in the snail mail, as you call it these days. And that was it. There was no information overload back in those days. Okay, so and now multiple streams of WhatsApp, Messenger, Telegram, email, so many ways of receiving information. Instagram, whatever, teletext. Thank you, Andrew. Some fabulous memories this morning. OHP projectors, the first daytime telly and teletext and luncheon vouchers this morning. Certified laughter yoga course in English starts next Tuesday on the 15th of December on Zoom. 1 hour of training a day, and then the grand finale will be in Mijas, Spain, or is that Mijas? Mijas, Spain, when COVID is over. Join us now, or when you can. We will record each lesson if you missed the first few lessons. Find out more about Laughter Yoga on the founders page, www.laughteryoga.org, or put my Portuguese webpage through translation. So there you go. Joanne Helms is launching a new laughter yoga course. What a fantastic antidote to some of the stresses of the time. And she's at it again with a new course. And the other thing, learning Portuguese through song and dance, making a song and dance of it. If you're interested in that, PM me and join, I think, some of the Munson family. It'd be like the Von Trapps learning Portuguese. And then just to furnish that picture of life in the 70s/80s, our tune on the radio is Simon Bates. Their eyes met across a crowded wimpy bar. Okay, my dad used to buy the Post, Mail, Mirror and Times at the weekend, and the Glasgow Herald and the Financial Times through the week. Always had plenty of paper fire sticks to light the fires. Yeah, and the thing about Dad having the paper there is that you might pull out the bits. Here's the cartoon bit for the kids. Here's a knitting pattern for the missus, or a recipe or something like that. In those days when men were men and women were men, there'll be a massive pile of papers. There's no way Dad got through all of that. My stepdad has still got papers now. He's in his 80s and he's still got paper. He's still got copies of the Daily Express, I'm sure, from 1987 with that article that he meant to read. So there you go. Thanks for all the memories. Andrew with one I'm not sure if I should read that. I'll come back to that. Johnny, try this. Un chasseur sachant, chasser son chien de chasse et un bon chasseur. Easy, Jenny. Come on, that was beginner stuff. Come on, bring it on with a bigger tongue twister than that. Talking about tongue twisters, I'm sure there was a famous house of ill repute that took luncheon vouchers, says Andrew. My goodness, that weren't the 70s and 80s happy times. Pete says the chilies I bought in Pombal were from a little old lady, who thought they were normal peppers. Alan from the Chili Experience has some amazing products too. Okay, Pombal, you've put that back in my mind, Pete. The Pombal Wok, of course. They're not averse to using a bit of chili there, are they, in the Pombal Wok? Who's been to the Pombal Wok? I think we got another comment or two coming through before we say goodbye today. And Sapphira, on the minimum wage, it guarantees a minimum sustainability, doesn't provide a base for a solid income. Of course not. We end up having a month-to-month survival income. The more the taxes go up, the poverty remains the same. Absolutely, Joel. Something not quite right with this picture, right? And in these times of, where the rug's been pulled, a time to rethink it and put something better in place, I would have thought. That is my hope for these times anyway. Jenny, in the 70s, we laughed in the English lesson. Oh, yeah, so whilst we were in Le Français aujourd'hui, learning volumes 1 and 2 of that with the Famille Bertillon, over in Belgium, they were having similar things in Jenny's classroom, laughing at the English lesson with Americans watching TV in the morning. We couldn't believe it, she said. Imagine that. Belgians learning English by watching Americans watching TV. Who knew? And Debbie Dews, good morning, honey. Oh, I'm feeling cold. Thermal knickers will be on it. Will be on in a week or two. Too much information, Debbie, to finish the show this morning. So let's leave it there, shall we? I'm going to have to. Take care. Bye for now. Fica bem. Abraços, beijinhos. Ciao, ciao, até logo. See you tonight. We go from Debbie's thermal knickers to the British consulate in one move to tell you that the webinar tonight from 8, you'll have to book it on the expatsportugal.com website under events. Join us if you're a Brit who's still got questions for the embassy about residencia here in Portugal. And thereafter, try some white port when no doubt me, Garvo, Alan Tejo, Mr. Perkins, Penny, the Wine Ninjas, Frank and Rachel, of course, and Linda will be trying white port and finding out more about it. Do join us just after 9. That will be fun. And go join the Good Morning Portugal Wine Club to find out about the fermentation in question and get yourself down to the supermarket to buy it. And then you can join in with us and we can have a drink together this evening. Responsibly, of course. All right. Bye for now. See you later.